Annie Whittaker Pais has been a pioneering force in creative initiatives for over 30 years. Her vision for building a united, sustainable North Florida region became the impetus for the Florida's Eden Plan. She brings her leadership experience and skills as a creative consultant to fields as diverse as education, culture, healthcare, hospice, foster care, and the environment. For 10 years, Pais has brought her global vision and creative leadership to Florida's Eden in the areas of water awareness strategy, sustainable economic development, and educational reform for the 21st century. Pais served as administrator of Gainesville's Loblolly Learning Community. She has advised the Harn Museum in developing their community education program, served as an art consultant, and pioneered paint-out events in North Florida. She worked with the Gestalt Center of Gainesville for 15 years to use creativity to enhance self-confidence of children in foster care. Last year, Pais was the recipient of the Gainesville-Alachua County Cultural Affairs Lifetime Achievement Award. Born in Greenwich, Connecticut, and raised in a studio by two artist parents, she studied at Syracuse University. Annie continues her professional art career as a painter and works regularly in her studio. Welcome, Annie.
Thank you very much.
Well, that is a mighty impressive bio.
That is, I'm just listening to that. It's like flashing before my eyes.
That's you. Well, it's been a while. You were on the show a while back when you had some amazing things going on, and that string of amazing things that you're involved in continues with GainesvilleConnect.com.
Yes.
I've been very fortunate to be in some meetings as you were here, trying to convince the county to become a partner organization,
right.
Which I'm happy to say you were successful at.
Yes, perseverance pays off.
But why don't we start by just kind of broadly, what is GainesvilleConnect.com?
Well, first, GainesvilleConnect.com, a lot of people are calling it the front door to Gainesville in Alachua County. It's a one-stop shop, really. It seems that this is the first time that we've ever had a web portal that is a unified effort that portrays who we are, you know, and can be used as an enticement, recruitment, and a welcome web resource.
What do you see as the goals? I mean, that's a great overview.
Yeah.
From a practical matter, though, what are you trying to accomplish with this?
Well, it's part of a bigger effort, you know. This was really born out of the IG Innovation Gainesville, you know, meetings. I have to credit a lot of people. It takes a village, you know. It has taken an entire community to partner this. And
now, Annie, if I may,
yeah.
for folks who may not be familiar with what
Sure.
IG is,
Yep.
we go down so many levels
I
here
know.
of how this formed,
Okay.
but what is IG?
Well, for me, IG is, you know, it's a framework and a round table. It's been going on for about 3 years now, and leaders from all different sectors have come together, and with a common focus to put Gainesville on the map as an innovation center, as an energy center, and to really incubate startups to stay here, you know, grow our knowledge-based economy. And to that, you know, originally I got involved as an IG advocate to bring the cultural sectors also on board and to talk about you know, the broader creative economy, because there's innovation happening in all of our economic sectors.
Right.
So IG, but you know, IG is a wonderful network. It's a way that we've all been able to come together month after month after month for years on a regular basis and network and keep up to date with what everybody's doing, and again, always with that idea that whatever we were doing, we were contributing it to a single focus for Gainesville, you know, in Alachua County.
So, Annie, as I think about Gainesville Connect, and since your initial conversations with us, I've been regularly visiting the website, and you've really been making huge leaps, I know, in the last couple of weeks. But I think about someone who's sitting in some place unknown, thinking about where they're going to live or
Yes.
where they're going to locate their business.
Yes.
And that to me is the most exciting part of
Yes.
this is, where do you go if you want kind of one-stop shopping for everything you need to know to help you make that kind of decision?
That's right. That's absolutely right. And now we're recruiting people from all over the world. I mean, certainly from every state in the United States, but from all over the world. And so people that are sitting in, a research scientist, or some faculty person, or somebody sitting in Germany, or Japan, or China, or someplace.
Or India.
Or India, yes, as with Mindtree. Yeah, they may not have any idea at all, what we look like, where we are. What's going on here, if their families would be happy here, if there's enough of a cultural scene, whatever there is. So we really wanted Gainesville Connect to proactively, and in a very direct and very human way, reach out to those people and say, here's where we live, this is what we care about, here are all our passions, here's our concerns, and we really want you, we're reaching out to you to welcome you here, and we want you to come and jump right in and participate in helping us all, reach the goals that we're all trying to accomplish. So
now we will be. You gave me a list of the people that have partnered with you so far, and it's really amazing. And I know that you're encouraging other folks to find out how they can partner with Gainesville Connect.
It's an ongoing, really, we're saying it's growing organically,
right.
And it's a community up process. I really want all the viewers to know, if you're a business, if you want to be a partner, we have a Gmail account on there if you want to help develop niche pages that reflect your interest and your expertise. Everybody is jumping on to grow this website so that it really is and reflects, our community and who we are.
Well, I'm very happy that I'm the first one who got you on as an interview. So
yes, you are my first interview.
And we're going to be certainly encouraging people and putting the web address up on the screen.
Good.
But I want to kind of take a couple steps back, and I know a lot about you and the things that you've done. And I know Florida's Eden is kind of the company that you have that takes on projects like this and Primavera and some other things. So you were getting into how you began working with IG. Can you kind of take us back some more and help us understand the genesis of Gainesville Connect?
Yeah, sure. Well, Florida's Eden, we've been around for 10 years now. We're a nonprofit, and we do a lot of what we call creative community building. We've done guidebooks, we put on events and create materials that, use the wonderful creative talent that we have here, the painters and photographers and writers and filmmakers and everybody, to portray our place and to, to really communicate who we are here, what we look like, and everything. So with that background, I was invited to be an advocate on Gainesville Connect, as were, I think, dozens and dozens of people from all over the community.
Through IG?
Yes.
Okay.
To be an advocate on IG.
On IG.
On IG,
okay.
I'm sorry.
No.
So, and so out of that, I met a lot of the technology leaders that I had not really known before. And I started meeting with them one at a time and giving them guidebooks, showing them introducing Florida's Eden and what we did. And my idea at that point was, I think I'm here to bring the cultural sectors to partner with the technology sectors. Mm-hmm. But they kept holding up the guidebooks and saying the exact same thing, one after another. They said, if you really want to do something to advance, what we're all trying to do, produce an enticement recruitment web portal and some, web resource materials for us that have the look and feel of this guidebook, but meet our other needs, So, so after about 6 months of this, I went back and said to IG and everybody, I think we have this great need for enticement recruitment materials. Uh-huh. And they said, go do it, Annie. And so, so then I had to fund it. I had to figure all that out. We live in a very entrepreneurial town, as it turns out. And so when you have one of these great ideas, the neat part is that, people like me can do things like this in a community like ours. And, the hard part is you always have to go out and figure out how the heck you're going to do it.
Right.
So I went back and I created this partnership. And going back to all the people that had initially said, this is what we need, and said, would you be willing to put in, some investment so that we can have a research and a development phase? Because we held focus groups, we had to figure out what the heck was going to, we had to make a website that everybody would use, so that it would be really a unified effort and that everyone would embrace it and use it. So that took another year. And then this past year, we started gathering content and filling in the site, and that was the exciting part, is the fun part then, is actually manifesting this beautiful, what I'm calling a web portrayal. That's what I'm starting to call it, because it's much more than a website. I mean, gone are the days when a bureaucracy would, a bureaucratic agency might outsource something like this to a PR firm. Those days just are gone. And now with the creative economy and creatives, finding each other, much the way Mindtree found each other, just through an email exchange in the beginning. Creatives are, the whole idea of recruiting is a lot more direct. It's a lot more, the creatives want to see a local site. They want to actually sort of meet people and have exchanges as part of that process.
I remember when I was looking at your guidebook
Yeah.
that you produced a few years ago.
Yeah.
It was such an unusual print publication. It became so clear to me that it was a fine arts person who had created this,
Yes.
as opposed to a graphic designer, and not that there's anything wrong with great graphic design work, but it just had a different feel than you would expect. And it's interesting how these folks at IG grabbed a hold of you and said, that's what we want, but we need it in the 21st century format.
Yes, and we have to, include in that site, one thing that happened was, so we held these wonderful focus groups. Love holding focus groups now. And they were with all different demographics. We held one at Groove Shark, we held one out at the Sid Martin Biotechnology incubator. We held them all over the place. But what everybody had in common was that they were all newly arrived here. And so we asked them all these open-ended questions about their recruitment process, how they arrived, what the transition was like, how were they welcomed in. And in the middle of that, we realized that really what we were needing to do was create a welcome site at the same time. So then the whole thing took on a whole different, proportion. And so, welcoming people in, we had to show lifestyle choices. Do you want to live downtown in an urban setting? Do you want to live in a planned community? Do you want to be in a historic neighborhood or a small town or have acreage? Or, so we had to address all these different interests and what's all about our schools, all about our, it just sort of became this sort of endless portrayal of who we are. But I think what we're ending up with, and this year the site will continue to grow. It really is organically growing, and that's fine. We decided to put it up. It's been in a soft launch until this month, and the partners were using it. People have been using it, and even in a soft launch without any real, promotional campaign, it reached over 30 states, several countries, and I'm told it's
what a
trending.
world we live in.
It is, I'm telling you, it's trending on Facebook and Google already. So we have people watching the the hits and all that's, tracking it and doing all that kind of stuff too. Excellent. So it is such a learning curve for me. I'm just amazed by all the things that go into something like this.
Well, when I look at the partner sheet,
yeah,
I mean, I think just about Alachua County, now that you're ready to really start rolling this out, I think about just what we'll do. I mean, we have 13,000 Facebook fans, so we'll put it on our Facebook site. We have our own very active, excellent website that we'll put it on. We'll put this interview on Channel 12, on the internet, on video on demand, on YouTube, on Vimeo.
Isn't it wild?
It's amazing.
It's lovely.
And when you multiply that by the number of partners here, all that have digital presence of some kind or another, it really starts to snowball and
that's
pyramid.
a very good point. And somebody, I think it was David Day in one of the Advocate IG meetings, he said, oh my gosh, he was looking at the partner list and he said, oh my gosh, you know, the marketing and promotion of this thing is built right into the partner use of it. Because, of course, that was the need. And each one of those partners, just like you're saying, has their own networks, their own, you know, and networks that, a lot of them, that reach out throughout this country and out, you know, globally. So essentially what we have now built is a stage, you know, from which we can now tell our Alachua County Gainesville stories to an ever-widening world audience. And that's a fabulous thing. So I've been going out and meeting with a lot of the young entrepreneurial, you know, business owners and startup people, inventors. And they, of course, it's their this is their, you know, the internet is their thing. And so they, I think, are going to, they're jumping on like crazy. They really want to be involved. And so I think that through a lot of their own social media, you know, networks, this thing is, I think it's just going to go crazy, like it should, you know, really.
So let me dig down into a little bit. And I know some of the answer to these questions, but for the folks that don't, when you become a partner, then you're not just saying, great, here's some money, go advertise me. You really sort of, I get the feel you become integrated into the site. And you're watching the site, particularly these parts of the site that deal with your particular organization, so that you've got all of these eyes looking at it saying, okay, we have this coming up or we have that coming up, and everyone has a vested interest in keeping the information current and interesting.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, all of the partners, first of all, agreed to the need, and then they did agree to help really craft how the site was going to be, you know, constructed and used. And then they've agreed to put content in, keep it fresh, and then they've agreed to use it as their primary communication for you know, enticement, recruitment, and welcoming. And another good point to be made is that we didn't want to displace anything with this. This wasn't meant to reinvent the wheel, you know. This was the wheel. We had not ever had a unified site before. So if you go to the bottom of any page, but especially on the front page, you'll find the partner list. You'll find also all the major calendars that the community has. So if somebody's trying to put on a conference or an event during a specific week, they can at least go and check out the major calendars and find out, you know, what else might be a conflict for that week. So it's very practical.
And can you get to each partner's website?
Yes, the partner, everything's a live link.
Okay.
I mean, you got to love the internet. Everything is live. And so, yes, and everything is also cross-referenced, kind of cross-pollinated, because we knew that people were going to come to the site through any particular page. You know, they might come through a partner's website, they might, and then become referred. They might just come to the site, they might Google something, then just come through an interest area into the site. And so we wanted to cross-reference things so that they show, you know, things show up on various pages, so they're not just, you know, in one location.
Do the partners actually add content, or do they send the content to you and
the
you
partners
add it?
have a way of putting their own content up.
Oh, they do?
That was part,
So there's a content management system that they can get into?
Oh, yes. Stuart Thomas, bless that man's heart. He, you know, in the research phase, while I was out trying to get partners to come on board, he was researching, I think, 60 different content management systems. I mean, this is huge. And I think ended up partially inventing one, you know, so that it really would meet our needs here. Because different systems, I know Zip about this, but you know, we needed one that would meet all of our needs. And so the partners have a very easy way. That was one of the things we really wanted to make sure of, was that the partners, as they went along, could have a very easy, I think it's almost like emailing in. You know, and they can upload videos, they can put in, you know, images, they can put in stories. So I think another nice thing to know about the site is that there's 3 different ways that the content is really, there's 3 different ways that the content appears in the site. There's the static content, and those are the pages that are pretty much going to stay the way that they are, unless something, you know, big needs to be updated. Then there's the all the resource links. Every page is divided into like a 2/3, 1/3 format. And so in the 2/3 part on the left, that's the storyline, the content. And then on the right, there are corresponding live links that relate to that content. So no matter what page you go to, whether you're looking at, you know, where do you want to eat, where do you want to shop, you know, all the different interest areas. It could be something about outdoor recreation or, you know, whatever it is. There's going to be a storyline, and then there are going to be resource links. And then, so in the storyline, that's the content that we call posts or blogs or things. Those are the things that are going to be freshened all the time, and then archived in, so that if you have an interest and you read the one that's the new fresh one, you can delve down into past you know, entries that, you know, will help you explore that interest.
You know, this is great if people are out there exploring, but I think it's just as valuable a tool once you're a company or a government or a business or a nonprofit. Once you are courting someone, or someone has expressed an interest to you, the power of just sending them the link to this and say, look at this community. And it speaks volumes just to say, this is a community that has this. That well, the creative elements have come together in this community.
I mean, that's why I say it takes a village. It really honestly does. I mean, if you look at what the county's done to prepare for this, if you look at what the city's done to prepare for this, what the cultural community's done, what you know, IG has done in coming together, all of those are pieces that came together, that aligned over years. I mean, this is really the outcome of so many people doing so many things to position this community for a real renaissance. I mean, this community is in the dawning of a real important renaissance, and what we want, and I think what I want the you know, the viewers to know is that everybody on that list sees this as a community up, you know, process, not a top-down process. Everybody on that list will tell you some version of how they want everyone in the community to benefit from the renaissance that's coming to Gainesville. And that, you know, people talk about it like it's an ecosystem of innovation. It's a, you know, it's a culture of creativity.
And one of the projects that I've watched with great interest over the years, it's another Florida Eden project, is Primavera. Can you tell me how that's evolved and what's going on with that?
Well, I love Primavera. Primavera is an effort, again, another partnership effort across the community to create a bigger cultural story for Gainesville. You know, reach out and engage the media with a story that, you know, to really highlight all the amazing existing cultural things that happen here and craft a bigger story, you know, and bring in a bigger audience, put ourselves on the map as a cultural destination.
What are the, I know it usually lasts about a month.
Yes, well, what we did was we started, we actually have year-round, you know, we could have picked any month probably.
But you kind of have that Primavera
we did,
time.
Yes, we did. We took the spring season, the dates are always March 20th through April 22nd. It was these 2 bookends, and it's the peak of our spring cultural season. Most of the events fall within that month-long period.
Slides into Earth Day. And
yes, Earth Day is the end bookend, you know, the end date, April 22nd. So, and we debuted last year. We had no idea what was going to happen. We just gathered as much of it as we possibly could. could and tried to create a fun, community story around it. Well, it ended up that we gathered up more than 200 events in more than 70 venues across every diverse neighborhood you could think of and out into small towns in the county. And it was amazing. I mean, it was an amazing energy. So here we are again. And this year, because of Gainesville Connect, the mission, of course, is to create a bigger story and put ourselves on the map. So we are, of course, incorporating the story of Primavera and the calendar of events and everything into Gainesville Connect.
So what's amazing about it is it's not like you went out and created 200 events. You're using this as a way to highlight and tie in what already makes this community special. And when you pick that month period last year and you started counting up the events, it was like 200? 200,
and I think there were more than that. I mean, those were the ones that we managed to gather together. Yeah. This community is talent rich. I mean, we have reserves of talent that, are amazing. And we have tech talent. So this year for Primavera, so here we go again. We're, at the beginning of March and we're going into Primavera. And so this year, here's my little postcard, my little sort of crib sheet. We decided to do two things. One thing that we decided to do was, offer a tour of creative spaces. So there is a month-long tour of creative spaces. People can go on Gainesville Connect. Right on the front page of Gainesville Connect, there's a live link to the Primavera calendar.
Right.
And you can see the March month and then the April month. Well, we realized that people were walking around Gainesville and we know we're talent rich, we know we have all this culture, but we didn't know that right on the other side of these walls, there are amazing things happening in labs, in startups, in studios, in kitchen, the Blue Oven Kitchen Incubator, in all kinds of places. So we offered up, just as a way to get it started, a thing where people could come together and post their tour as part of, so it's a behind the scenes peek at the creative process in all these different areas. It's fabulous.
Annie, I always try to leave my audience wanting more.
Yes.
We've run out of time.
That is it. Go on, yes.
Thank you so much for coming, and
You're welcome.
It's really exciting to hear
Thanks
what you're
for
doing.
having me.
Do you think about where you spend your money, where it goes after you spend it, and how that affects your community? Money spent at local and independent businesses stays in your community, and local businesses offer a wide variety of quality services and products. Whatever purchases you make, consider making them at local and independent businesses. When you do, consider it an investment in what you love about your community. Look for the Buy Local North Central Florida logo and visit www.buylocalncf.org.
Dogs can't flush, so wherever they do their business, scoop the poop, bag it, and trash it. Clean creeks, clean yards, clean paws. A message from the Gainesville Clean Water Partnership.
I was tired of my life, and I started drinking to deal with it. So I talked to my best friend.
Everything was falling apart. I just couldn't take it anymore. So I talked to my girlfriend.
No matter what I did, I was never good enough. So I talked to my coach, and we went to this website.
These are examples of mental health issues.
There are people out there who care about you.
They can help. Just talk to them.
Who can you talk to?
To find out more, go to whatadifference.org and click on Learn.